Were it not for gaming magazines of yore, I would never have picked up on the Oddworld games, and in particular, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. Released exclusively on the original Xbox way back in 2005, Stranger's Wrath was a fantastic attempt at incorporating first-person combat with a third-person character action adventure slash platformer. That's a bit of a mouthful, but it's true, and it stayed fairly niche even in the grand scheme of things. This HD port, developed and published by Oddworld inhabitants, has actually made the rounds across several other consoles, but modern Xboxes had no way to play this game until now. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD follows the bounty hunter dubbed Stranger as he bags high-valued bounties across the Oddworld to save up enough moolah to quote-unquote survive. Being a one-man army, naturally, it's difficult to go up against multiple enemies with good accuracy and strong reflexes, but it all works out as you use your environment to hide from enemies and bag them, dead or alive, with the help of actual living live ammunition. As in, biological organisms fired from your crossbow at baddies. It's even cooler than it sounds. As you can imagine, the gameplay loop is taking up bounties and turning them into local law enforcement, preferably alive, as that nets you more monies and gets you closer to your outrageously high medical bill. Players can hoof it and knock out enemies with melee attacks, but that won't work against bosses, and you're only going to make things harder if you don't engage in combat from the first person. See, this game lets you switch between third and first person for most areas of the game, and the latter is required if you want to use the ammo you've been picking up across the levels. These ammo types range from alerting enemies with annoying chipmunk thingies to snagging them with webs and blowing them to bits. I should note that collecting ammo at times can be a bit annoying because of their hitboxes, but the game gives unlimited ammo of a specific type that lets you not worry about aiming your shot on the tiny little critters. Although the first person mode seems complimentary, you actually find yourself running through the game a lot this way. Your moveset stays virtually identical, and the keen eye view is necessary as the levels become more and more complex. The challenge of this game is finding out the best steps to advance to the target boss bounty, and the later stages have a lot of paths to let you undermine traps and enemies or give you a nice vantage point to blow things up. But again, going guns blazing isn't always the best move, as keeping enemies and bosses alive is crucial to saving up moolah for Stranger's operation. Oh, and bosses have funny things to say when you lock them up. The world of Oddworld is as crass and humorous as can be, and the aesthetics, coupled with the writing and world design, are still visually pleasing in the original Xbox sort of way. The color palette might always seem moody, but it fits the backdrop of a world that's just very out of shape, and the game knows when to change up its color usage. It also all looks a lot better at higher resolutions and frame rates, which this port happily includes. It's a bit of a shame then that the full motion video cutscenes are still the same old video files from the original Xbox release. With the tools now available, I'm sure there are ways to remaster these videos that were cost effective. As it stands, they're the only blemish on this port that I've experienced, besides a random crash here or there. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath is just as good today as it was 17 years ago. In an era of gaming where first-person cameras and third-person games were used as a crutch for early camera work, Stranger's Wrath uses it to its full advantage to build a solid action-adventure game that I can easily recommend to anyone.